Good morning. So apologies, I managed to talk to myself for 6 minutes with the stream on mute. So we'll go back to the start and try this again, shall we? You're very welcome to the Coppertops live stream this morning. We're going to talk about systems to make your business run more smoothly. So I suppose start with the why would you use systems? Every piece of system you can add to your business helps it to run more smoothly, reduce the time you spend on tasks that don't really need your attention, and allows you to spend time on tasks that do. The simplest example that we use is Text Expander. So the one I use is actually called Text Expander, and it allows you to program shortcuts that expand to full text as you type. So for example, you can program your email address or a website URL, or one that I use is hex values for the brands that we manage. So when we're designing the website, you can actually just type in a little quick shortcut of keys and it will replace it with the hex value, which is something that you would never remember off the top of your head especially for the number of them that we would use. There's endless possibilities of how you can make life easier with this tool, and there's plenty of similar ones. In fact, on most systems you can do a certain amount of it in the inbuilt operating system. If we look at digital marketing, having a system to manage your content is just an absolute must. I think it's best managed wherever you hold your project or task management, just to keep everything together so it's easier to see your whole business in one place, but it's personal preference, so whatever works for you. The 3 key points, I suppose, for this system are: it's a place to capture and gather ideas. So when you think of something you could write about, you throw it into your content management list. And then you can organize them. So it's a way of organizing them by platform that you're going to share to, category of content, and whatever else, whatever other organization you want to do on it. And then it's a way to monitor when you plan to publish it and the current status. So we would have things like idea, writing, graphic, whether it needs to be reviewed and whether it needs to be published or scheduled, and then published when it's closed off. A system like this gives you clarity on the content that you're planning, which piece you're going to publish when, so you can see an overview of your calendar and what's going out when, and also what needs to be done on any piece at each time, so you can see what tasks you have to keep your content moving. And then to add on to that, I suppose, a tool like Hootsuite, where you can schedule content across multiple platforms and again see your calendar of content. It keeps things nice and simple. So with something like Hootsuite, we would generally recommend that you use that to create a framework of basic content and then put ad hoc stuff in between, so your feed doesn't look too structured and scheduled and formulaic, that you have a little bit of freedom with it as well, because I think that feels nicer as a reader. If we move on to leads, it's an area where you just have to have systems, and you probably do have a system to track your leads, but check what it's connected to. So for example, if you get an inquiry in through your website, where does it go? Does it just go into your email, or does it automatically go to your lead tracking system? So if you get an email and you have to manually add that into your CRM or wherever you manage your leads, firstly, you're wasting time because it can be done automatically. And secondly, you're introducing the possibility of error, because humans don't do things as accurately as machines generally. So if you can get it done automatically, then there's less chance of dropping things and mistyping. Scheduling appointments is just a game changer when you look into systemizing this. So I suppose the questions are: how much time do you spend when you're scheduling a meeting and back and forth emails and calls to try and pick a good time to suit all the people involved? And how much time could you save if you could send a link that shows your availability and allows the other person to just pick an available time that suits them? And then how much time do you save when that event is then automatically added to your calendar? So when they select a time, it goes straight into your calendar, and it brings in a meeting link for Zoom or Google Meet or whatever you use. So you don't have to go and create the meeting on your video software. And then how much time is saved if you can automatically send a reminder text or email to make sure the other person remembers to join the call. Because I think in the virtual meetings world, we all forget to join calls sometimes. A little text prod is a nice touch. And then if you add in the use of an app like otter.ai, it automatically records and transcribes the meeting. So as you're talking, it records the audio and it transcribes it into text, so you have a reference later. And it means that you can focus on the conversation and talking to the person rather than scribbling notes. And especially, I think on video calls, if you have your head down writing, you're not as engaged, and it's more noticeable than it is in person, I think. So I suppose email is an area that there's endless possibilities depending on what we want to handle your email coming in. Things like filters and labels to organize emails so they don't sit in your inbox, you know, the ones that aren't so important, that you can quickly move them off, but they're still organized and available if you need them. And then auto forwarding to CRM or other places if you need to do that. And one of the other ones that we use is our accounting software is automatically linked to our bank. So our bank transactions are pulled into the accounting software. We can reconcile them and quickly create invoices, payments, expenses, all the pieces in our accounting software. And it allows us to save time and to reduce error because we don't miss anything. There's a constant check back against the bank transactions. So that makes life an awful lot easier in managing our accounts. So just a few examples there of systems that you can use. So I suppose if there's any questions, pop them in chat I can see chat on Facebook and on YouTube. Or if you have any other ideas on what you can do to add systems in your business. It's a world of endless possibility. Okay, so I don't see any questions. I think we'll end it there, and thank you very much for joining me this morning. We'll see you next time.